You're watching Capital City Sunday.
Good morning. This week on Capital City Sunday, the Wisconsin Supreme Court says the state's top election official can remain in her post amid Republican lawmakers' efforts to remove her from office.
My hope is we could perhaps put 2020 to bed.
Wisconsin Elections Commission Chair Ann Jacobs joins me on the show to unpack that ruling and how the commission plans to move forward.
It's important to recognize that almost the minute that executive action was released, it was challenged by many states.
And as the Trump administration cracks down on immigration policy at the southern border, refugee and asylum law expert Sarah McKinnon joins me on the show to discuss President Trump's mass deportation efforts. Plus, some Head Start programs in Wisconsin can't access federal funding, how parents and child care providers are feeling anxious about what the future holds. Thank you for joining us. I'm Darrielle. The Wisconsin Supreme Court on Friday ruled that Chief Elections Administrator Meagan Wolfe can remain in her position amid repeated attempts by Republicans to unseat the state's top elections official. In a unanimous decision written by conservative Justice Annette Ziegler, the court rejected legislative Republicans' argument that the Wisconsin Elections Commission was required by law to appoint a new administrator. Justice Ziegler said the court rejects that the WEC has a duty to appoint a new administrator absent a vacancy in position. Ziegler clarifying no vacancies in the position exist. Joining me now is Chair of the Wisconsin Elections Commission, Commissioner Ann Jacobs. Commissioner Jacobs, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Happy to be here.
All 7 justices on the Wisconsin Supreme Court issued a unanimous ruling allowing Chief Elections Administrator Meagan Wolfe to stay in her role. In her opinion, Justice Jeanette Ziegler said that no vacancy exists. How important was this decision for the WEC?
I'm simply delighted by the unanimous decision of the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Meagan Wolfe is an outstanding administrator and known nationally for her work in elections, and we're very lucky to have her here in Wisconsin, and I'm delighted that the court ruled that she's able to stay in that position.
An argument being made in this case was that essentially Administrator Wolfe could remain in her post forever. Now that a ruling has been made, I want to get your thoughts on whether the commission in the future could potentially vote to remove Wolfe from her post.
So one of the important parts of the statutes governing the administrator is that the commission always has the ability to remove a person from that position. It requires 4 votes of the commission. So we have 3 Republicans, 3 Democrats. So anything we do requires 4 votes, so it must be bipartisan. The commission always has the power to do that at any time. So the commission could, at a future date, if it chose to, remove Administrator Wolfe or any other administrator. Similarly, Administrator Wolfe has the right to leave to go on to another position if and when she chooses to do so. At that time, the commission would have to work to appoint another administrator.
And how does this ruling impact the process now for Chief Administrator Wolfe to remain in her post?
Nothing changes. Literally what this decision means is everything that we're doing right now at the commission with regards to her position as Chief Election Officer of the state of Wisconsin and as Administrator of the WEC, all that stays exactly as it is. It maintains the status quo. One thing I should mention is that this ruling comes out of a previous case where Mr. Prane was holding over in the Department of Natural Resources, and the Wisconsin Supreme Court ruled that that was proper based on interpretations of statute. If the legislature doesn't like this decision, it is within their abilities to pass a new law and change the statute that's being applied here. I have testified in front of the legislature in the past about this and pointed out the fact that they have the ability to change this law. To my knowledge, that hasn't even been proposed.
And Commissioner Jacobs, this has been an ongoing legal battle that first began with Republicans in the state legislature. Republicans have continued to argue that the WEC was required to appoint a new administrator after Wolfe's appointment ended in July 2023, concerns that began after President Donald Trump cast doubt on the 2020 election. What do you think this decision says about how the state's elections are administered?
My hope is we could perhaps put 2020 to bed. The conspiracy theories that came out of that election were unfortunate. They damaged public confidence in elections in Wisconsin, and they were simply not fact-based. The commission has work to do with the upcoming Supreme Court election and our gubernatorial elections in, I guess, 1 year in 2026. So we have a lot of work to do, and I hope that this decision helps put to rest some of that noise around this.
Commissioner Jacobs, you spoke about state lawmakers having the potential to change the statute, and you just stated we do have a Wisconsin Supreme Court race coming up on April 1st. Considering how the justices ruled in this case and which candidate wins that election, is there any concern at all that state Republicans could potentially revisit this issue?
I think it would be unlikely. I think it would be unlikely that this sort of case would come again in front of the Supreme Court, regardless of who wins in April, and that's because it was a unanimous decision. So the three justices considered conservative, Justices Hagedorn, Ziegler, and Rebecca Bradley, all agreed with this decision. So if one justice tips from the perceived liberal to the perceived conservative side, I don't see it changing this decision.
Wisconsin Elections Commission Chair, Commissioner Ann Jacobs, thank you so much again for your time.
You're very welcome.